Create an environment where your son is allowed to express his emotions in a very healthy manner. If he cries, let him cry. If he's upset, excited, or whatever the case may be, let him be able to verbalize and articulate all of the emotions that he is expressing. Avoid languages like, oh, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry. Let the little child cry. Don't assign gender roles. If your son wants to play with dolls, let him play with dolls. If he wants a cooking set, let him have a cooking set. Do not separate responsibilities based off of your children's gender. For example, if you are introducing cooking to your daughter at 9, do the same thing with your son. Teach your son how to be self-sufficient.
That's what's up, brother.
Don't assign gender roles. If your son wants to play with dolls, let him play with dolls.
What? Misandry towards black men on social media is as common as getting a glass of water.
Move me back.
That's right. It's prevalent and usually unpoliced. We see it here on YouTube. You know the kind of usual suspects we're talking about. But today, we're talking about popular TikToker Bohemian Diva 6. Now, why is she so important for today's conversation? Well, she represents what I would say is a really good representation of those who kind of are against, the black male patriarchal system or black men in general. She seems to be college educated. She seems to have been somewhat of a liberal arts major, maybe, and things like that.
I ain't never heard of this person.
Definitely feminist and on the left. And some of her content that we're going to review today, if I were to say it, or if you were to say it as a black man, you will be considered completely misogynist. You will lose your Facebook account, your Instagram account, your YouTube account immediately. But of course, she is, unperturbed, unchecked, unpoliced. And this particular clip, I want you to hear, she talks about black men, and let's review it together. And let's see how disturbing it really is.
This is just a friendly reminder that y'all need to treat black men like y'all treat white women, with extreme caution, because they will burn you.
What?
You can sit there and be like, but they're my brothers, they're my sons, they're my husband, they're my family. Okay, honey, go for it. And when you get burned, then I told you so. They don't give a about us. They will do any and everything to get a crumb of privilege. And that little crumb of privilege is all they need to throw the community under the bus. The black community is on fire. You have 3 choices, my love. Exit, extinguish, or expire.
All right, so you guys heard that. And look at the...
I'm saying, like, when did we, what? We not allies. We don't protect y'all. We don't provide for y'all. When did we become the adversary and we looking for privilege? Treat us like you treat the white woman. Your brother? Your son, uncle? Father? I guess.
The caption. Even the ones with good intentions will betray you. Now, let's say for an example, if I were to say the same thing about black women, what would you hear from black women? Not all black women are like that. But I want you to listen to the hearts. Look at the hearts, and that's the likes on the comments. Right now, it's currently at 8,626 people. I would assume mostly women who agree with that.
Bruh.
And what she's doing is throwing all black men under the bus. She's saying that black men will turn on you. How? Why? Sounds like a bunch of emotions to me. What are your facts?
She sound like she scorned or jaded or something, like somebody did her wrong in the past. Like you mad at somebody in particular. Cause I ain't even never heard nobody say that before. Like this coming from a place of some pain that you got. Somebody done did you wrong. I feel it.
Where is your statistical data? What do you really mean when you say black men are gonna turn on you, right? And you need to leave the community. You're gonna expire. They're looking to get a crumb of privilege. What do you mean when you say that? These are talking points that can't be backed up with facts. These are feelings. These are emotions, right? Now, if we said about Black women, what would that be? It would be feelings. It would be emotions. Because yes, people do make mistakes, but do I believe that all Black women are the equivalent of what she's saying about us as Black men? Absolutely not.
No.
Because people are, and listen to what I'm saying, they will treat you as you present yourself. It seems like this is a young lady who is bitter, who is upset, who is hateful towards Black men for whatever reason, and it's your personal problem. Again, you're talking out of emotion. You're not talking about anything that's factual. You're talking about feelings, and the world doesn't deal with feelings. And I have proof of what I'm talking about in this particular advice that she gives to one of the commenters of how to raise a son. What? Listen to what I'm saying. It's gonna be hilarious, but let's listen to this. So Bohemian_Diva99 is going to give some interesting advice on how to raise a Black son, okay? So this is, to me, this is hysterically funny, but let's get into it.
In how to avoid your son adopting toxic and misogynistic traits is the environment in which your child grows up in. And let me explain. Researching information from my article, I learned that Black men struggle the most when it comes to upward mobility.
So let me stop there. Researching information for her article, which means really you don't know what you're talking about because you have no idea how to raise kids or how to raise men because you're not a man. You don't understand the.
What did the comment even say? Peace, you please talk. You please talk. Anyway, you please talk about how to bring up a male child so they don't inherit those same traits their daddy had and even mama.
Black male experience. You don't understand really what toxic masculinity is. You're talking about something that you don't know what you're talking about, and you're trying to give advice based on something that you haven't lived. But this is typically what people do in this era, talking about something that they have no idea what they're talking about. Let's continue.
Meaning that if Black men grew up in poverty, they are more likely to remain in poverty compared to Black women and other demographics. Now, there are exceptions to that data. Expose your son to positive male influences like youth programs. That is not associated with.
Expose your son to positive male role models like youth programs. See, this is how you get buffoonish people in the first place. We'll talk about how the Black community is where it's at, because you want to know why? The first positive male influence in a young man's life is his father, because he is the biggest person with the biggest vested interest. What should be talked about here is, did you have a relationship with the father? If the father is toxic, why is that the case? But let's go ahead and go to youth programs where there is no father. Is there an uncle? Is there somebody else? No, that's.
I don't even know what her advice talking about. It don't sound right, bro. Sitting on the youth programs, like, huh? What a father at, man? What a somebody? You ain't got no granddad or none of that. And then with the whole fact, she's talking about some most men stay in poverty if they're born in poverty, but women don't. Does that sound real? Can I get some percentages? Can I get some articles? I don't believe none of that.
That's the problem already, right? Why are you sitting around, sleeping around with people who are not good role models? Here we go.
That is not associated with the church because the church is extremely misogynistic. I would highly recommend
the church
programs that is sponsored by D9 fraternities or.
The church is misogynistic, but the church is full of women. Hello. Again, these are opinions, not based in fact.
Or your local college. Most colleges have youth programs in order to facilitate and encourage young Black boys to go to college. Get an environment where your son is allowed to express his emotions in a very healthy manner. If he cries, let him cry. If he's upset, excited, or whatever the case may be, let him be able to verbalize and articulate all of the emotions that he is expressing. Avoid languages like, oh, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry. Let the little child cry. Don't assign gender roles. If your son wants to play with dolls, let him play with dolls. If he wants a cooking set, let him have a cooking set. Do not separate responsibilities based off of your children's gender. For example, if you are introducing cooking to your daughter at 9, do the same thing with your son. Teach your son how to be self-sufficient.
I'm saying. If your little boy want to play with dolls, let him play with dolls. So you will buy your son some Barbies, some Bratz dolls? Why? Like what? Like, I don't know, bro. I don't like nothing she's talking about. None of it makes sense.
The same way you would teach your daughter.
Let me just stop right there.
None of that makes sense.
See this? What she's talking about? I want you black women to listen to this. When you guys talk about these men who you think are soft and weak, yeah, and they can't lead, and they're not really tenacious as the men that you would need to take over. Because remember, she said, listen, you need to exit as black women, right? Women are looking for a real man. This is the wrong advice to give, because why? Men are held to higher standards than women.
True facts.
No, you are a boy. You're not supposed to cry. Why? Because you need to be strong. Why? Because you're a man, you're a builder. It's okay to be upset, but you have a higher level of excellence than women.
I want to say, bro, like, yeah, all that, let them cry. Like, bro, we don't have time to cry, bro. If we got an issue, if we got something going on, like, we have to fix that issue. Ain't nobody coming to save us from that issue. That's why you not crying, because you got to go do something about it. You can't sit up here and cry and be upset and be emotional. Fix the problem. The country and men in the world, a lot of times, end up saving women from bad situations. Men ain't getting saved, bro. You got to save yourself. You got to get up and do something about that. We ain't got time to be sitting here crying. We ain't got time for that.
Women in your community, because your responsibility on the man is higher. That's the kind of attitude that black women want. They're looking for black men like that. And that's the problem going on right now in Black America. People giving young black boys this sort of advice. And that's why so many women are frustrated right now, because they think the young black men and black men are too soft for them. That is the reason why. Because of
But yeah, Mom Dude's trying to give them dolls and kitchen supplies.
Women giving advice to young men about how to raise a man, and they don't know anything that it takes to be a man in this world. When you need men that are going to be tenacious, get after it, and build. Do you want a man that she's describing right now to marry your daughter? You're not going to want that. You're going to want a man that's going to get out there and get to it, get after it. Yeah, I'm a boy. I'm not feeling well today, but I'm going to make it happen. Why? Because I got to protect the women in my community. I got to protect my wife. I ain't got time to cry. I got to get to it. That's the kind of men that black women are looking for, not this sort of situation here. So a lot of you sisters, y'all need to really understand what kind of young men that y'all are creating, and y'all really need to be real serious about the fathers in the community and stop this misandry. If you hate black men, just say it. But still, don't try to sabotage these young men at a young age, which is what you're seeing right now. If you really don't like black men, lead them the wrong way. And that's what you're seeing with this young lady.
Yeah, I definitely feel like she leading me in the wrong way. I wouldn't listen to nothing she talking about, bro. What do you mean by that? If he gonna cry, let him cry. Where is the man at? Somebody save that little boy. Somebody save that little boy, man.